Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a sort of a test, okay? We're going to be planting two plants of the same type, so we're going to do two romaine lettuces, okay? They're the same age, they're seedlings, they was germinated at the same exact time. And on one method, we're going to be using drips flow. And on the other method, we're going to be using Orca, which is a mycorrhiza fungi. Okay, this is a beneficial bacteria, and pretty much the way I understand it is there's two sort of types of ways that you can do hydroponics. Some people call it the clean method, some people call it the sanitization method. So you can either kind of keep your system clean and sanitized, or what you can do is you can add these beneficial bacteria. That way you hope that these beneficial bacteria, they kind of kill all the bad stuff, right? And that's what this Orca kind of is. Now there's different products out there. I think Great White is made by the same company as Orca. Orca is just a liquid form and everything. I haven't tried Great White. This is the only mycorrhiza that I have. But I have been testing it on different plants inside the house, and so far so good. Okay, now we are going to be using the kratky setup for this little test that we're going to be doing. And I'm not going to be doing a video showing you guys the full growth. Okay, what I'll do is I'll do these like little short videos for you guys, so that way you guys can kind of see the growth of these two. But we are going to put labels on these, and we're going to put them on the same rack so they get the same amount of light, and they're the same plant. Okay, so nothing weird. I'm not going to be moving them, you know, across the room or anything like that. So, all right. So pretty much, we got some RO water. I've already filled up my containers. We're going to be using wide mouth mason jars. You know, I like this system. 3-inch net pots. All right. So if you watched my last video, we have our water about at the end of the net pots. So we're going to do nutrients, and then I'm going to take some of these seedlings, and we're going to throw them in here and then do some labeling. For nutrients, we are going to be using general hydroponics. All right. I like general hydroponics, and I already have it out from the last video that you guys watched. So, because these are seedlings, again, we do not want to flood them with nutrients or anything. We want, ideally, we want the ppm to be roughly about 400. But I want to keep this the same, and I'm trying to see if one of my drippers here has a actual measure. I don't think they do. We might have to use this little thing. So what we're going to do is I may just use up until the first little thing right here on this dripper for nutrients on both. All right. So we want to kind of keep this pretty even. So if I flick it, hopefully it goes down. All right. So we use just a little bit. All right. And I'm going to be ppming all of this as we're making the solution here. That way we kind of keep everything. I want everything to be about the same. Okay, I don't want any food discrepancies or anything like that. Got our ppm. So this is reading at 214, the jar on the right. And on the left here, we are reading at 125. So that is a little less than what we actually want. So let's add a little bit. 260 on the left here, and then 207. So let's add just a tiny bit here to the right hand side. See that right hand side, 257. Okay, so we're pretty close. Not exactly perfect, but I can live with a little it a little bit off. All right, and again we're gonna add the green. Just gonna add a little bit here. Okay, and then okay. Stir, stir, stir. And we are at 389, 388 on the right hand side, and we're at 334, 324 on the left. Woo! So we need to add just a little bit on that left hand side there. Okay. $3.96. I can do that. Now we add the bloom here. So we just do about 6 little droplets of the bloom. 6. Good. Now we need to add the cow mag. Again, cow mag we can be a little bit more precise with. So cow mag, I'm going to do about 4 squirts each, or 4 little droplets each. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check the ppm. Right hand side we were at 494. 494 on this one. And on the left we're at 522. 522, and you know it's about a 20 percent off or whatever. I could add another small droplet of cow mag in here, and that would probably raise it to about where it needs to be actually. All right, so that's about 530 something, and that's about 5. Yeah, okay. So yeah, again, we're about in that general area, about 500 on both of them. So this is good. So this is going to be Flow. This is going to be Orca. Okay. So next thing is we need to add. So on Flow, we are going to be using these products as they are intended to be used. Okay, so this is Flow. This is from Drip Hydro. Pretty much what this is supposed to do is kind of keep your system sanitized or clean roots and stuff like that. Seems to be doing okay in my DWC containers, but I want to try in these kratky systems here. Okay, so the application is dilute 2 milliliters of water per gallon, okay? And then we need to do this daily or once a week for weeks 1 to 6. Now, this is where a little discrepancy happens. the application process, they recommend you doing this for medicinal plants, okay? Drip hydro, I dropped it there, but drip hydro is they specialize in nutrients for medicinal, okay? A lot of their feeding charts is for medicinal, okay? So if you do get this nutrient line, just understand that some of the feeding stuff that they recommend is really for weed. It's not for, you know, this type of stuff. But you can still use it for this stuff. I mean, it's just nutrients at the end of the day. I like it, but we're not really going to be using. We're not going to be doing the once a day. We might do it once a week, but we're not doing daily. Okay, I don't want to. We're not burning this through this stuff. Okay, so got our syringe, and so it is 2 milliliters per gallon. Okay, this isn't a gallon. So what we're going to do is, I'm probably just going to do like half of this, okay? Half of this per flow. About that much per flow. That's about a half of a milliliter. All right. And then I'll write flow on this, and then I will do this about once a week to kind of keep it nice and clean. Alright, but we're not going to be doing it daily or anything like that. Now, Orca, on the other hand, Orca is for hydroponics, it is a half a milliliter per gallon. Okay, well, we don't have a gallon of water again, so how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use a different syringe first off, because if you mix Orca and Flow together, what happens is they kind of kill each other, because one is for sanitization and the other one is beneficial bacteria. Okay, and we don't want to kill it. So this is a half a milliliter per gallon. So we may just go ahead and we might, I'll just do about this much. And we only need to add this once, as far as I'm aware. Okay, so we added about that much. Okay, so we have our Flow, we have our Orca, we've added CalMag, everything is good. Oh, we need to test the pH super fast. I forgot to do this in one of the segments in my last video. We always want to test out the pH. Alright. It should be pretty good because we're using the RO water, and so I am reading 6.25, 6.26 on the right hand. Which is pretty good. And then on the left, we're using stir it up. I got about 5.9. So about 5.9, and then on the right hand side is a little bit higher. I don't know if the Orca, if it does something, but that's what I got. So, but regardless, we're in the same good range on both. Okay. Next thing is we're gonna pitch these plants right here. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't save everything. And we're going to get a rock wool. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wet these down, and we're going to make slits. Alright. And how I make slits is I just take like a steak knife. Alright. There's a hole right there in your rock wool, and I'm just going to line up a cut to that hole. Kind of like this. But we're not going to go all the way through the rock wool. Alright, we just want to make a slit so we can slide our plant in, not cut all the way through it. Okay, so we're doing something like that so we can kind of open it up. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our plants that we've been germinating. Now I'm going to peel them apart. We're going to look at the roots, and I'll show you the ones that I select here. Alright, so we want to select some good ones, obviously. And I've already see a couple here that look pretty good. And we got a couple here that's pretty good. I'm going to use this little guy right here. Okay, it's already got a nice root on it. We're going to use that in the flow system here. And all I do is I take this rock wool, and where it's got that slit is we're just going to slide our plant in. Okay. And now we got that nice root. We got our net cup. And because it's already got a root, what I'm trying to actually do is I'm trying to get that root at the very bottom there. That may, nope, it's gonna, oh no, you fell over. I was about to say, I think I could grab it, but I may have to use some tweezers here. So I do have a pair of tweezers. And what I occasionally like to do is I just like to take the tweezers and we just gently pull that root through. Alright? Don't want to kill it or anything. We just pull it through. Boom. Set it in there. That's good. Next one is, see, this is the hardest thing when you have multiple plants, is picking the one that you think is actually going to do something for you. And I think this one, guys, I think this is the one right here. Got a good feeling about this one. We're going to see. Alright, again. We're going to stick it through that rock wool right here. Okay, making sure it has plenty of, plenty of leaf sticking out so I can photosynthesize and everything. Okay, so we got the nice root. We're going to stick it down in there. And again, I'm going to try my best to get this root here. I want to get it touching the nutrient, because if we can get that thing drinking, then it'll be a whole lot better off in the long run. That's what we want. Alright, camera died, so I had to refill it with the fresh battery. I don't think this one's going to do anything. I'm going to have to pick a different plant. That one is not the one there. The root, some of these roots are just not big enough. I really want, there we go. Nice big fat plant right there. Alright, so I'm going to stick it in there. And I'm going to try and just kind of stick it down. I mean, as long as it can hit water, I guess it'll be alright. Ideally, I like to have the roots already touching the nutrients at the bottom, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. As long as I make sure that the water's good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just make sure that the water is constantly good. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, because everything else is kind of mushy and a little dead. So we got Orca, we got Flow. That's all that we're going to be kind of worrying about here. Next step is we're going to get our socks, okay? We're going to get our labels on. I'm going to stick these under the grow lights, and then we can sort of start doing this test. I need, trying to think here, I need 2 socks, and then we can start doing this. Alright, so we got some socks here. I'm going to be using these black socks. It doesn't matter what color of socks that you use, as long as, you know, as long as it works. And these are just some old socks that we don't wear anymore. These are nice and tight. They're kind of ankle socks, so. There we go. All the way up at the top here. You guys have seen me do this before. It's the same process. And just slide the sock up. Okay. So you kind of see we got the sock going. Got the plant going. Let's go ahead and throw on our labels here so we don't forget. These are both romaine lettuces. One is just Orca and one is Flow. All right, so we do romaine, 1, 15, 26, and then Flow. Okay, and then what I'm also going to do too is I'm just going to put a Y and a T on there, just so we know these are the YouTube growths that we're testing out here. Okay, so we're going to add our label here. Now I'm going to do the same thing on that one. Romaine, today's date, and then Orca, and then Y and a T for YouTubes. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick these under the grow lights inside my greenhouse, and we're going to watch these things just hopefully take off. Like I said, I will be doing some shorter videos on the how far these are going and stuff like that, and we'll kind of keep tabs on them as we go along here. But this should be an interesting little comparison. I don't know which one's going to be outperform the other one. Maybe they just both kind of do the same. But that's all I got for you guys. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below. I'll always get back to you guys. And until next time, you guys show me your garden. Bye guys. Peace.